I recognized that truck, not because tow trucks are special, because that one had a dented rear fender and a faded sticker on the boom arm that I'd seen before. Parked outside my sister's place, like it belonged there. It was barely dawn. The sky was that washed-out gray-blue where everything feels quiet and temporary. I was half awake, coffee not even started, when I heard the backup beeps. Beep, beep, beep. I stepped to the window and my stomach dropped straight through the floor. A tow truck was backing into my driveway. My car, my paid-off car, sat right there like it always did. And this guy didn't hesitate. He moved like he'd done it 100 times. I yanked the door open and ran out in socks. "Hey, what are you doing?" I shouted. The driver didn't look at me at first. He kept working the controls. In seconds, the metal arm slid under my front wheels. The car lifted like it weighed nothing. I sprinted closer, heart slamming. "That car is paid off," I yelled. "You can't repo it." That got his attention. He finally turned his head, annoyed like I was interrupting his breakfast. "Ma'am," he said, voice flat, "I've got an order." He held up a clipboard, one sheet on top, clipped tight. I didn't snatch it. I just stared at it, because the paper had my plate number printed in bold. My plate, my address, the make and model, even the last digits of the VIN. It looked official enough to fool someone who didn't know what they were looking at. "Who sent you?" I demanded. "Recovery request," he said. "Not my problem. Step back." I could hear my pulse in my ears. I tried to keep my voice from cracking. "I'm telling you, there's no loan. There's no lien. That car is mine." He shrugged like ownership was a feeling. "Ma'am, argue with the office," he said. "I'm just the hook." Then I saw it. Across the street. My sister. Standing in the pale morning light. Phone held up. Filming like this was content. She had a hoodie on, hair up, and that smile she saves for moments when she thinks she's humiliating you in public. I froze for half a second, not because I was scared, because suddenly the whole thing made sense. She wanted a scene. I pointed at her. "Are you serious?" She didn't answer me directly. She kept filming, voice loud enough for me to hear. "Tell them again how you're paid off," she called out, laughing. "Maybe the truck will get bored and leave." My throat went tight. I turned back to the driver. "Look, and that's my sister. She's doing this." He followed my finger, saw her filming, and his expression changed, just slightly, like he wished he wasn't involved. But he still climbed into the cab. The engine rumbled. The car rolled backward. I ran alongside for 2 steps, desperate. "Wait, who is the lender?" I shouted. "What company?" He didn't answer. He just pulled out of my driveway like he was taking trash to the dump, and then my car was gone. Just gone. And I stood there in the cold with my hands shaking, staring at an empty patch of concrete like it had betrayed me. Across the street, my sister lowered her phone and finally walked closer. Slow, confident, like she was the one who'd won something. "You should have paid your bills," she said. "I don't have bills on that car," I snapped. "It's paid off." She shrugged. "Then prove it." That was her favorite move. Make you do paperwork while she enjoys the damage. And I pulled my phone out with fingers that didn't want to cooperate and opened my email, searching payoff, lien release, anything. And there it was. The confirmation from my credit union, dated months ago. Paid in full. I shoved the screen toward her. She didn't even look closely. She just smirked. "Cute," she said. "Tell it to the tow yard." Then she turned and started walking away like she was done with me. But I wasn't done. I raised my voice. "What did you send them? How did you even do this?" She looked over her shoulder, eyes bright. "I didn't send anything," she said. "I just let the right people know the right information." And then she added almost casually, "Your plate number is public, you know." She went inside her house. Like she'd just told me the weather. I stood there for one long second, then did the first practical thing that popped into my head. I called the police non-emergency line. I didn't say, "My sister is evil." I didn't rant. And I kept it clean. "My car was taken from my driveway by a tow truck," I said. "They claimed it was a repo. I have proof the vehicle is paid off." Dispatch asked for my plate and description. I gave it. "An officer will be sent," she said. While I waited, I called my credit union. My hands were still shaking, but my voice stayed steady. I gave them my account info and said, "Did you authorize a repossession on my vehicle?" The rep didn't hesitate. "No," she said. "Your loan is closed, or paid in full." "Can you email me a payoff letter right now?" I asked. "Yes," she said. "I'll send it while we're on the phone." That email hit my inbox before I even hung up. A door across the street opened. My neighbor, Mr. Hargrove, stepped out holding a mug, squinting at my driveway. "You okay?" he called. "My car just got taken," I said, voice tight. "Did you see that?" He frowned. "I did, and my camera got it." That sentence was the first real relief I'd felt all morning. Because cameras don't get gaslit. A patrol car pulled up a few minutes later. The officer, tired-looking, polite, not interested in drama, listened while I showed him the payoff letter. He nodded slowly. "Repossession is usually civil," he said. "But if the lender didn't authorize it and you've got proof, we treat it differently." He looked at the empty driveway, then at my phone. "Do you know the tow company name?" he asked. And then my stomach tightened again as I remembered the side of the truck pulling away. I had caught it for half a second, a logo and a name in black letters. And that name was the part that made everything drop into place, because I'd seen it on my sister's social media, on a hat, on a truck parked behind her boyfriend's garage. I swallowed. "Yeah," I said quietly. "I know the company." The officer's eyes narrowed. "Which one?" I told him, and the second I said it, the officer's expression changed, not shocked, more like, "Here we go." "Okay," he said. "Then we can locate the yard." He glanced at me, then down at his notepad. "And ma'am," he added, "if your sister set this up with a fake repo request, that's not a prank." He paused, choosing his words. "That's theft." My phone buzzed. A text from my sister, a video thumbnail, my car rolling away. Under it, 3 words. "Pay up today." I stared at the screen, then looked at the officer. Then he read it once, and he said very calmly, "All right, now we have leverage." The tow yard was 20 minutes away, tucked behind a row of warehouses like it didn't want to be found. The officer, Officer Keene, followed me in his cruiser. Not lights and sirens, just steady, like he already knew this was going to turn into paperwork with teeth. At the gate, a guy in a neon vest stepped out and held up a hand. "You here to pick up?" he asked. "I'm here because my car was taken," I said, and I kept my voice calm on purpose. "They claimed it was a repo. It's paid off." The guy's eyes flicked to Officer Keene behind me. He swallowed and gestured us toward the little office trailer. Inside, it smelled like burnt coffee and printer toner. A woman behind the counter looked up, bored until she saw the uniform. "What can I do for you?" she asked. Officer Keene spoke first. "We're here about a vehicle taken this morning. The owner says there's no lien, and I need to see the authorization you used to tow it." The woman blinked once, then turned to her computer. "Plate number?" she asked. I gave it. She typed. Clicked. Typed again. Then she frowned. "It's in our system," she said, "as a repossession." I slid my phone across the counter with the payoff letter open. "Here," I said, "paid in full, no lender." She glanced at it like it was an inconvenience, then looked back at her screen. "Well, we don't create those orders ourselves," she said. "We get assignments." Officer Keene nodded. "Show me the assignment." She hesitated. "I'm not sure I'm allowed." He didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. "Ma'am," he said, If this vehicle is paid off and your company removed it anyway, we're not in a civil repo situation anymore. We're in a theft investigation. I need the paperwork." That word, theft, changed her posture instantly. And she stood up and disappeared through a door that said, "Staff only." While we waited, my phone buzzed again. Another text from my sister. "Clock's ticking. Don't make me post the rest." I stared at it like, what does the rest even mean? My house number, my kid's school, my bank? Officer Keene saw my face and held out his hand. "Send that to me," he said. I forwarded it. That was ally number 1, someone who could turn a threat into an exhibit. Now, a man came out of the back office a minute later, mid-50s, shaved head, polo shirt with the tow company logo. He looked annoyed until he saw Officer Keene. "What's the issue?" he asked. Officer Keene kept it simple. "Your company took her car as a repo. The credit union confirms the loan is closed. I need to see the assignment and who requested it." The manager's face tightened. "We're a contracted recovery service," he said. "Where we act on assignments from lien holders." Officer Keene nodded. "Great. Then you can show me the line holder." The manager glanced at the woman, then at the computer, then back to us. "Let me pull the file," he said, and he stepped behind the counter. He clicked through screens fast. Too fast for comfort. Then he stopped. Just stopped clicking. His jaw shifted like he was chewing on something he didn't want to swallow. "What?" Officer Keene asked. The manager cleared his throat. "On the requesting party," he said slowly, "isn't a bank." My stomach dropped. "It's listed as a private recovery request," he added, eyes narrowing at the screen, "with a supporting document." Officer Keene leaned in. "Open it." The manager clicked. A PDF popped up on his monitor. It looked official at a glance. Letterhead, bold text, a box with my plate number. But it had that same cheap feel as the paper the driver flashed me, like it was designed to fool people who don't stare at documents for a living. Officer Keene pointed. "What's the lender name on that?" The manager read it out loud, and the second he did, I actually felt my face go blank. Because it wasn't my credit union. It wasn't any lender I'd ever heard of. It was a name that sounded almost real, like someone had typed it at midnight and hoped nobody would question it. Oh, Officer Keene's voice stayed calm. "Do you have a lien release on file? Anything from DMV? Anything that proves a lien exists?" The manager shook his head once. "Not in this packet." Officer Keene didn't argue. He switched gears. "Show me the contact number tied to the request." The manager hesitated. Officer Keene held his gaze. "Now." The manager clicked into another tab and read the number off quietly. I didn't even need to hear the whole thing. And the last 4 digits hit me like a punch. It was my sister's number. The manager looked up like he expected me to explode. I didn't. I just let out one slow breath and said, "That's her." Officer Keene nodded like the last piece just clicked into place. "Okay," he said. "Now we're not guessing." He turned to the manager. "Do not release that vehicle to anyone but the registered owner," he said. "Do not move it. Do not auction it. Put a hold on the file." The manager swallowed. "We have policies." Officer Keene's tone stayed polite, but it hardened. "You also have liability," he said. "This request is tied to a personal phone number, a fake lender name, and no lien proof. If you move that vehicle now, you're knowingly participating." That did it. The manager nodded quickly. "All right, we'll hold it." Then he added, almost offensive, "We didn't know." Officer Keene didn't comment. He asked the next question, the one that mattered. "Where is the car right now?" he said. The manager looked at the screen. "Lot C, row 4. Officer Keene nodded at me. "Stay with me." We walked out back through a chain-link gate, past rows of cars with stickers on windows like they were inventory at a supermarket. And there it was, my car, sitting under a pole light even though the sun was up now, like it was still trapped in the morning. I walked toward it and my throat tightened. Not because I'm sentimental about a car, but because it felt like getting part of my life back. Officer Keene held up a hand. "Don't touch it yet." I stopped. He crouched by the driver's side window and pointed with his pen. "See that?" he asked. There was a small decal stuck inside the glass, a new one, a little bar-coded label. I read the printed line under it and my stomach dropped again. "Voluntary surrender. Contact requester before release." Requester. Officer Keene looked back at the manager. "So you put this on because the requester asked you to," he said. The manager's face tightened. "It's in the file notes. Call before release." Officer Keene nodded slowly, then looked at me. "That's your sister trying to control the end of this," he said. "She wanted you to show up and beg her." He straightened, took out his phone, and made one call. Not to dispatch, straight to someone higher. When he hung up, he looked at me again. "Auto theft detective is taking it," he said. "Dan, we're getting your neighbor's footage, too." He paused. "And one more thing," he added. "If she used your plate to generate a fake repo packet, she may have done it before." I swallowed. "So what happens now?" Officer Keene's answer was the first thing that felt like a real plan since dawn. "Now," he said, "we document everything in writing. We get the request file, the phone number, the fake lender document, the tow driver statement, and your payoff letter." He glanced at my phone. "Thou and that pay up today text?" he added. "That's not just rude, that's extortion." My phone buzzed again like she could sense we'd found the car. A new message, shorter this time. "Meet me, bring cash." Officer Keene looked at it and didn't blink. "Good," he said. "Let her keep texting." Then he turned to the manager. "I need a copy of that request file," he said. "Printed, time-stamped, everything." The manager nodded and hurried back toward the office trailer. I stood by my car, my hands at my sides, trying not to cry from pure adrenaline. And that's when I realized something worse than the tow itself. My sister didn't just want my car. She wanted me to feel powerless. So I'd hand over whatever she asked next. But now we had the file. We had her number on it. We had her texts. And we had my car sitting right there, held in place by a tow yard that suddenly cared a lot about liability. Officer Keene looked at me and said, "The next part happens fast." Because if she thought I was coming to pay up, she was about to learn what happens when you try to turn a court-style paper trick into real theft. The tow yard manager came back out with a fresh stack of paper like he was carrying something fragile. "Here," he said, handing it to Officer Keene. "Assignment request, attachment, call before release note. Everything that's in the file." Keene didn't even glance at the first page. He flipped straight to the last, where the system logs usually hide. Then his eyes narrowed. "Who paid the assignment fee?" he asked. The manager blinked. "What?" Keene tapped the page. "You don't send a truck out for free. There's always a payment trail. Card on file, invoice, something." The manager's face shifted like he'd just remembered he was standing on a landmine. He turned back to the clerk inside the trailer and barked, "Print the payment line." A minute later, she came out with one more page. It had a date, a time, and a masked card number. And right next to it, name on card, Mallory Pierce. My stomach actually lurched. Keene looked up at me. "That's your sister's full name?" "Yes," I said. "That's her." The manager's jaw dropped open slightly. "She paid for the pickup?" he said, like he couldn't believe someone would be that bold. Keene's voice stayed calm. "Or bold people count on everyone else being tired." He took the page and tucked it behind the rest like he was building a clean little case file. Then he pointed at the fake lender document on the monitor. "Who wrote this lender letter?" he asked. The manager shrugged. "It was uploaded." "From where?" Keene pressed. The manager clicked through a tab labeled Upload Details. His face went stiff. "There's an email on the request," he said quietly. He read it aloud, and it was my sister's email address. Not a burner, not anonymous. her actual email. Keene didn't smile. He didn't gotcha. He just nodded once like the universe had finally stopped playing coy. "All right," he said. "We've got her number, her email, her payment card, and her demand texts." He turned to me. "You still have the payoff letter?" I held my phone up. "And the credit union rep's name?" he asked. I told him. Keene wrote it down like it mattered, because it did. In the real world, you don't win by being right. You win by being documented. A black SUV rolled into the lot and parked near the office trailer. A man got out carrying a messenger bag and a small camera. He wasn't in uniform, but he had that same steady posture Keene had. Keene walked over and shook his hand. "Detective Rowan," he said, then nodded at me. "This is the owner." Rowan didn't do small talk. He glanced at my car, the hold sticker, then at the paperwork. "Morning," he said. "Let's keep this clean." He took the file, flipped to the page with Mallory's card name, and let out a slow breath. "This is good," he said, like he meant it. "This is not, he said, she said. This is a trail." The manager shifted nervously. "We didn't know it was fake." Rowan looked at him. Not angry, just direct. "Then help me prove you didn't know," he said. "I need a statement from the driver, and I need your internal notes printed with timestamps." The manager nodded fast. I can get the driver." Rowan turned to me. "Show me the texts," he said. I opened the thread. The video thumbnail of my car leaving. "Pay up today." Then, "Meet me. Bring cash." Rowan stared at it, then looked up. "She's not hiding," he said. "She thinks this is a pressure tactic." Keene nodded. "And she filmed it." Rowan's eyes lifted. "Filmed it how?" I told him. Across the street, phone up, smiling like she was recording a prank. Rowan looked at Keene. "We'll want that video." Keene nodded. "We can request it." Rowan's mouth tightened. "Or she'll post it." And just like that, the tow stopped being about a car. It became about intent, because if she posted it with a caption like Repo, she'd be telling on herself in public. The tow manager reappeared with a man in a company jacket, same annoyed face as Dawn, but less confident now. The driver. Rowan asked one question. Simple. Who gave you the assignment? The driver glanced at the manager like he wanted guidance. The manager didn't rescue him. Rowan repeated, "Who?" The driver exhaled. It came through the system, private request, call before release. Rowan nodded. "Did you speak to the requester?" The driver hesitated. "Yeah, she called while I was en route." Keene's eyebrows rose. "What did she say?" The driver looked uncomfortable. "She said the owner would cause a scene and I should ignore her and finish fast." My face went hot. Rowan didn't react emotionally. He just asked, "Did she identify herself?" The driver nodded. "She said she was the one who handled the account." Rowan's gaze sharpened. "Did she give a name?" The driver swallowed. "Mallory." Keene wrote it down like he was collecting nails. Rowan closed the folder and looked at the tow manager. "Do not release this vehicle to anyone but the registered owner," he said. "And I want a copy of your yard release policy." The manager nodded quickly. "Yes, sir." Then Rowan turned back to me. "Here's the immediate goal," he said. "Get your car back today and lock the evidence so she can't rewrite the story." "How do I get it back?" I asked. Keene pointed at my payoff letter. "With this, plus your registration, plus their hold release." Rowan added, "And you'll sign a receipt showing the vehicle was recovered during an active theft investigation." Boring words. Exactly what I wanted. While the tow clerk printed a release form, Keene stepped aside with Rowan and spoke quietly. I didn't catch every word, but I heard one phrase that made my stomach tighten. Controlled contact. Rowan came back and looked at me. "You said she told you to meet her with cash," he said. "Where?" I blinked. "She didn't say. Just meet me." Rowan nodded once. "Good. Then we choose the place." Keene raised his phone. We call her, on speaker, with the tow manager present. We ask one clean question. What question? I asked. Keen's eyes stayed calm. Who authorized the repo? He said. And where does she want the money? The tow manager looked like he wanted to disappear. I don't want trouble, he muttered. Rowan glanced at him. You already have trouble. This is how you get out of it. The manager swallowed and nodded. Keen dialed Mallory. She answered instantly. About time, she said, bright and smug. You ready to do this the easy way? Keen didn't let her steer. Ma'am, he said, this is Officer Keen. I'm at the tow yard with the vehicle and the company manager. I need you to tell me who authorized this repossession. Mallory went quiet for half a beat. Then she laughed. Oh my God, she said. You called the cops? It's a repo. It's civil. Keen's voice stayed flat. The file shows a private request paid with your card, submitted from your email using a fake lender name, he said. So I'll ask again, who authorized it? Mallory snapped, I did. The tow manager's face changed like he'd been slapped. Rowan didn't move, but I watched his eyes narrow just slightly. Keen kept going, calm as a receipt. And why did you do it? He asked. Because she owes me, Mallory said, like it was obvious. And she doesn't listen unless something's at stake. Keen didn't argue with her reasoning. He boxed her in with one clean line. So you used a fake repo to force payment. Mallory scoffed. Call it whatever you want. I'm getting paid today. Rowan leaned toward Keen and mouthed, Ask where. Keen did. Where do you want the cash delivered? He asked. Mallory didn't hesitate. The Starbucks on Route 9, she said, in 30 minutes. So tell her to bring it. Keen nodded like he was agreeing. Stay on your phone, he said. Do not contact the tow yard again. Mallory laughed. Sure. And then she hung up. The lot went quiet. The tow manager whispered, She just admitted it. Rowan looked at Keen, then at me. That, he said, is your sister walking into the trap she built. The tow clerk came out with the release form. Keen watched me sign for the car like it mattered, because it did. Then he handed me my keys. Mini payoff, real, immediate. My car was back, but my hands were still shaking because now we were moving into the part my sister thought she controlled. Rowan tapped his watch. 30 minutes, he said. Keen nodded. We'll be there. I looked across the lot toward the road, and right then, like the universe had perfect timing, my phone buzzed again. A new message from Mallory. Don't bring cops, just bring money. Rowan read it and said quietly, Too late. Then he looked up at the entrance of the tow yard. A familiar SUV rolled past, slow, not stopping, just checking. And through the windshield, I saw her face. Mallory, watching, counting, making sure I was scared. Rowan's voice dropped. She's already nearby, he said. Keen's hand moved toward his radio. And she has no idea what we just printed, he added, because the tow yard had already handed over the file, her email, her card, her number. And now her own voice admitting, I did. We didn't rush to the Starbucks like it was a movie. We did it the way real adults do when they're trying not to get killed by someone else's bad decisions. Slow, controlled, and with a plan that doesn't require heroics. Detective Rowan parked across the lot with a clean view of the entrance. Officer Keen stayed close. I stayed in my car with the windows up, hands on the steering wheel, trying to breathe like a normal person. Went in, the tow yard manager was with Keen, because his company was now part of the evidence whether he liked it or not. Rowan looked at me and said, You're not handing her cash. I nodded. I wasn't going to. Good, he said. You're just going to show up. Let her talk. Let her confirm what she did. Keen held up his phone. We already got the I did, he said. Now we get the why and the how. My phone buzzed again. Mallory. 5 minutes. Don't waste my time. Rowan gave a small nod like he was checking a box. Okay, he said. She's confident. That's helpful. We pulled into the lot and parked like normal customers. No lights, no drama. Mallory was already there, standing near the patio like she was waiting for an Uber, hoodie up, sunglasses on, even though it was barely morning. She saw my car and her mouth twisted into a satisfied smile, because she thought the sight of my car meant I'd surrendered. She walked right up to my driver window and knocked with her knuckle like she owned it. "Where's my money?" she asked. I cracked the window just enough to talk. "I want my car left alone," I said, "and I want to know what you filed." Mallory laughed, short and nasty. "I filed what I had to file," she said. "You ignore me until something hurts." "That wasn't a real repo," I said quietly. Mallory's smile widened. "It worked, didn't it?" she replied. That line again. Same exact energy as before. Rowan, across the lot, lifted a hand slightly. "Keep her talking." Mallory leaned closer. "Cash," she said. "Or next time, it's your bank account. Your furniture. I can make your life very uncomfortable." I felt my stomach tighten, but my voice stayed steady. "You paid the tow company with your card," I said. "You used your email." Mallory's eyes flicked. Just once. A tell. Then she scoffed. "So what?" And that was the moment Rowan chose. He walked up, calm. Eye badge visible, like this was just another Tuesday. "Ms. Pierce?" he asked. Mallory froze for half a second, then snapped back into attitude. "Who are you?" she demanded. "Detective Rowan," he said. "Auto theft. I need to ask you a couple questions about the false repo request." Mallory's face tightened. "False," she snapped. "It's civil. She owes me." Rowan didn't argue the owes part. He went straight to the facts. "You submitted a recovery request using a lender name that doesn't exist," he said. "You paid for it. You attached a document with her plate number. You told the tow driver to ignore the owner. Then you demanded cash." Mallory's eyes darted to me like she wanted me to deny it for her. I didn't. Rowan's voice stayed level. "Do you want to explain why you did that?" he asked. Mallory's chin lifted. "Because she owes me," she said, "a family loan." Rowan nodded slowly. "Okay," he said. "When did she borrow it?" Mallory didn't hesitate, too confident. "Last year," she said, 10 grand. Rowan asked, "Do you have a promissory note?" Mallory waved her hand. "It was family. We didn't do paperwork." Rowan's eyebrows rose slightly. "No paperwork," he repeated, "but you filed a repo request like you were a lender." Mallory snapped, "That's not what I—" Rowan held up a hand. "Ma'am," he said, "this is the part where you stop talking yourself into charges." Mallory laughed, hard, like she couldn't believe anyone would talk to her like that. "Charges," she repeated, "for towing a car? Please." Officer Keene stepped in beside Rowan. "Ma'am," he said, "we have your call recorded. We have the tow yard file. We have your payment. We have your texts." Mallory's smile faltered for the first time. Then she did what she always does when she feels control slipping. And she tried to twist the story into "I'm the victim." "She's unhinged," Mallory said, pointing at me. "She lies. She doesn't pay. Rowan cut her off. "Show me one bank transfer," he said. "One receipt, one Venmo, one check, anything that proves she owes you a loan." Mallory's mouth opened. Nothing came out. Because there wasn't anything. Rowan nodded once, as if that was the answer. "Okay," he said. "Then what you did wasn't debt collection. It was coercion." Mallory's voice jumped. "That's dramatic." Rowan's tone didn't change. "It's extortion," he said simply. Mallory went still. Because that's a word people like her don't like. It's not a word you can laugh off. Rowan turned slightly and nodded toward Keene. Keene was already holding a small evidence bag, not cuffs, not a takedown, a bag. Rowan looked at Mallory. "Hand me your phone," he said. Mallory's eyes widened. "No." Rowan didn't threaten her. He didn't raise his voice. "Either you hand it over," he said, or we get a warrant and take it later. You've been texting threats and coordinating a false recovery request. We preserve evidence." Mallory tried to back up. Keene stepped into her path, calm, blocking without touching. Mallory's breathing got tight. "This is insane," she hissed. "She's the one." Rowan held her gaze. "No," he said. "You are." Mallory looked around, suddenly aware of the other customers watching. And that's when her mask cracked into anger. "You think you can embarrass me?" she snapped. "Fine, take it. I'll get a lawyer and bury you." Rowan nodded once. "Great. Let your lawyer explain why you used a fake lender name." Mallory's hand trembled as she pulled her phone out. She shoved it toward Rowan like she wanted to throw it. Rowan took it carefully, powered it down, sealed it. Then he looked at Mallory and said, "You're not leaving." Mallory blinked. Excuse me?" Rowan's voice stayed calm. "You're being detained while we sort out charges," he said. "And yes, your car stunt at dawn just became a real case." Mallory's face went pale at the edges. She tried one last angle, soft voice, fake concern. "Can I at least call my husband?" "You can do that later," Rowan said. Then he turned to Keene. "Read her the warning," he said. Keene started speaking, standard words, simple and clear, but Mallory wasn't listening anymore. And she was staring at me through the windshield like she couldn't believe this was happening, like she'd never imagined a world where her little paper trick turned into handcuffs. Rowan leaned slightly toward my window and said quietly, "You did the right thing not paying." Then he looked at the tow yard manager, who was standing there sweating. "And you," Rowan said, "are going to give us every file you have, today." The manager nodded fast. "Yes, whatever you need." Mallory tried to protest again, voice rising. Rowan didn't argue. He just nodded toward Keene. Keene stepped closer, and with one clean movement, the scene flipped from sister bullying to official. Mallory's hands went behind her back. No wrestling, no drama, just that cold click that means you don't control the ending anymore. Mallory's voice broke into a hiss. "You're really doing this over a car?" Rowan's reply was quiet and brutal. "No," he said. "And we're doing this over what you tried to make her do." He glanced at me once. "Now," he added, "we finish it the right way." Mallory didn't scream. She didn't cry. She went stiff, furious, and quiet, like she was trying to freeze the moment and undo it later. Detective Rowan guided her toward his vehicle while Officer Keene stayed with me and the tow yard manager. The whole parking lot had that weird hush. People pretending not to stare, but staring anyway. Keene looked at me through the cracked window. "You're going to follow me back to the station," he said. "Not because you're in trouble, because we need your statement clean and we need the timeline locked." I nodded, and as we pulled out, my phone buzzed one last time from Mallory's number. One more message, probably sent before her phone got bagged. "You just ruined your life." I didn't reply. I saved it. Because at this point, saving things was how I kept control. At the station, and everything was boring in the best way. A detective took my statement. I handed over the payoff letter proving the car was paid off, the tow yard packet showing Mallory's phone number, email, and card payment, the tow driver's statement that she called him and told him to ignore me, my sister's texts. "Pay up today, meet me, bring cash, don't bring cops." Keene printed the body cam timestamps and attached them. Rowan added the recorded call admission from the tow yard. Not a dramatic montage, just a stack that made it impossible to shrug this off as family drama. Before I left, Rowan stepped into the room and said it plainly. "We're forwarding charges," he said. "Vehicle theft attempt, false instrument submission, and extortion." My stomach tightened. "So she's not walking away from this?" Rowan shook his head. "No," he said. "Well, not with what we have." Then he added the part that mattered to me most. "And we're also notifying the tow company's insurer and the state licensing board, because they ran a repo without a lien holder." The tow yard manager's we didn't know suddenly had consequences too. That night, my car was back in my driveway, and this time I parked it inside the camera view of Mr. Hargrove's security system because he offered and because I was done learning things the hard way. Nikeen walked me through the next steps in plain language. File a protection order request if she contacts me again, add a fraud alert with the DMV if needed, document any further threats. No lectures, just practical. 2 weeks later, the real today part showed up in my mailbox again. Only this time it wasn't a threat. It was official. A letter with a case number at the top. State versus. Mallory Pierce. Charge. Summary. Attempted theft/extortion-related offense. Arraignment date. Date. I sat at my kitchen table and stared at it for a full minute. Not because I was happy, because I finally saw the system write her name down the way she'd written mine down. I forwarded the case notice to Renee. Yes, I kept an attorney on standby now, and she replied in one line, "Good. Now you have a paper shield." That same week, I got an email from the tow company's corporate office. Short, stiff, and clearly written by someone who just realized they had a problem. We have terminated the recovery request and placed a permanent block on any private assignments tied to your vehicle. Your account is flagged. We apologize. Permanent block. That was my door closed on their end. And then came the practical consequence I didn't even know I needed until it happened. Restitution. Because my front bumper had been scuffed by the tow hook and the alignment was off. Or the detective had photos from the yard, time-stamped. The tow company couldn't pretend nothing happened. I got a check and a repair authorization. Not a fortune. Not a movie ending. But real. And the kind of real that sticks. Mallory tried one last move. She had a friend text me from a random number. "Mallory says drop it. She'll make it right." I sent the screenshot to Rowan's office. 10 minutes later, I got a reply from the victim advocate. "No contact has been requested as a condition. Do not respond. Keep documenting." And that was it. That's what people like Mallory hate most, when their access to you gets locked behind official rules. Because they can't charm a condition of release. They can't argue with a case number. They can't bully a court order. Here's the clean ending, with no missing pieces. She used my plate number to generate a fake repo packet. She paid for it. She attached fake lender info, and she told the driver to ignore me. Then she tried to turn it into a cash shakedown. I didn't win by yelling. I won by getting the file, getting her admission, and letting the system do what it does when someone leaves fingerprints everywhere. I didn't want revenge. I wanted my life back. And now I had 3 things that meant she couldn't do it again. A case number with her name on it, a flagged block tow company file, and a no-contact condition sitting between us like a locked door.